Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today we're going to look ahead a bit and talk about the potential for Year 6 content in the Division 2. Now this is a topic that we've covered in the past, and it had mostly at the time been kind of a wait-and-see situation, at least that's what I said. Well, we've waited, and as we approach the end of 2023 and the midway point through Year 5 with no updates on what's coming afterwards, I wanted to kind of reevaluate the situation. So if you enjoy coverage and discussion like this on the Division 2, then I would appreciate you considering clicking that subscribe button. Let's get right into it. Year 6. Do we think it's going to happen? There's a few things that I want to go over before I kind of give my professional opinion on the matter. The first was the timing of when Year 5 was announced after Year 4 content began. So Year 4 started back in May of 2022 with the release of Season 9 in TU15, and they then confirmed that Year 5 content was in development and would be coming less than 2 months after that. And so I think that is the main reason why there's been so much chatter on Year 6 and whether or not we're getting it, is the fact that we're nearly 6 months into Year 5 and we have no confirmation either way. Now there is a bit of different circumstance here in the fact that Year 5 has a different trajectory with the major update that's coming in the final season, but we'll get to that soon. The only remote piece of evidence I think we have that can sway this one way or the other is from actually the Division 3 announcement article. In there, again, it focuses a lot on Julian Garrity returning to the Division franchise and taking on the role of executive producer. And one quote in there says, "A core focus of Garrity's is to build the team for Tom Clancy's The Division 3, which will be led by Massive Entertainment, while making sure Tom Clancy's The Division 2 remains well supported." Now, in theory, I think that sounds pretty conclusive, but the skepticism remains, and in fairness, well supported could be skewed to mean something different than direct Year 6 content. From a business perspective, I don't think there's any apparent financial reason not to do Year 6, right? The player base has done nothing but grow steadily since Year 4 returned and when Year 5 got greenlit. So on that side of things, it would seem to make sense. But in fairness, this time around we have two very different elements that are playing into this that we didn't back in Year 4. For one, we have this big DLC coming at the end of Year 5 with Season 4, that's something the Division 2 hasn't seen in years. And there's the fact that they have now officially confirmed the Division 3, and so some think that this is the end for the Division 2, that being the DLC, that it will go out with a bang, it will kind of implement systems to set up the game's success for the years to come until then. So, what do I think about it? Well, I think personally that this DLC and the endgame redesign that's coming in Season 4 is going to be a bit of a new beginning. The fact of the matter is that Division 3 is still several years away. Even though people want it to be here sooner, myself included, it's a long ways out. And while it's great that we're getting these spin-offs like Resurgence, Heartland, all these other things, keeping the core player base engaged is going to be nothing but beneficial when they do eventually get to the Division 3. You want those hardcore Division players to still be satisfied and engaged. And while you could make the argument that restructuring the endgame, making seasons more compelling, which we know they're striving to do in Season 4, that could be a good ending point for the game, and then they kind of just let the game autopilot from there. Conversely, I think that's also a fantastic foundation to build upon for Year 6, maybe even Year 7, while we're waiting for Division 3. One other thing that we didn't have back in 2022 when Year 5 was confirmed was Division Day. That was a big event earlier this year, and it's when we got the announcement of Year 5's roadmap and a lot of other big things. So my theory is they haven't said anything about Year 6 because they're saving all of the big announcements and hype for a 2024 Division Day, right? They want to let the hype for the DLC grow. Announcing Year 6 would somewhat overshadow that, so I don't think they want to do that. But then once we hit Division Day, which probably will only be a month or two out from when the DLC releases, they're going to do a huge reveal and information dump on that DLC itself. At that time, they can then mention that Year 6 is coming afterwards, kind of building on the foundation that this DLC will establish. And that then could give consumers greater value proposition in buying the DLC, knowing that it's kind of this gateway to a more refined endgame and future content coming in Year 6, and like I said, maybe 7 and 8. And I truly do believe that Year 6, 7, maybe 8 are a core part of Ubisoft's strategy to keep Division fans engaged until Division 3 can release later this decade. People will continue to be skeptical until it's official, and I get that, I respect it, officiality is key when it comes to this stuff, but I do feel quite certain that this is going to happen. Especially because these big DLC releases, when you look at similar games across the genre, typically precede further content. They're usually not a bookend. That doesn't mean it's impossible for it to be a closing chapter for the game, but that would be abnormal, I think. If they're confident enough to fund the production of a DLC and then it's something they're going to charge money for, which they have not confirmed, but I think they're going to, then there's likely evidence to suggest that the game could continue to be profitable in the years to come afterwards, and like I said, I think that's what we're going to see. But either way, we're going to find out in 2024, and for for now, those are my thoughts on the likelihood of Year 6 content for the Division 2. Let me know your thoughts on the matter. There's obviously a lot of different angles you can come at this from, so whatever you're thinking about it, let me know down below. Regardless of what happens, we've still got a lot of awesome stuff coming up for the Division 2, and I'm really excited to see it all come out. I hope you all are as well. That is going to do it for me today, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. RogueGold. Ow.